Welcome to You're 18, Now What? Thank you for joining me on this great Tuesday. I'm Dr. Catherine Gilstein, and I'm looking forward to empowering you with information about financial literacy. I will be posting new episodes every second and fourth Tuesday of the month. Before we get started, I would like to address a few people that emailed with the same question from our last episode. We spoke about money and credit, and the question was, how do you get a free report? You can either go to each website for your report or go to annualcreditreport.com, and the site will walk you through the 3 credit reporting agencies and how to get your reports for you. If you have any other questions, please email me at catherine@your18nowwhat.com or go to my website and click the drop a line link. Let's get into today's topic. This episode we will talk about cleaning up, or what I like to call financial clarity. But before we begin that, I want you to think about your relationship with money. What does your relationship look like? Is money just something you need to pay your bills? Or do you want more from it? Is your money controlling you? Or are you controlling it? When you know how much money you make and how much money you spend, you begin to control your money instead of it controlling you. Money is different for each of us. And what you want at 20 is different than what you want at 30 or 50 or 60. So where are you right now? What are your priorities? What are your goals? What do you want for yourself? Are you looking to just move out on your own for the first time? Are you looking to buy a home and start a family? Are you thinking about saving for retirement? Or are you trying to see how your money will last while in retirement? Once you know your why and where you're at, then you can begin to have financial clarity and clean up. So how do you do that? Decluttering your physical space and your financial space will help you declutter your mental space as well. Before I do anything, I make my bed every day. This simple task says my physical space is clear, so my mental space will be clear. Having an objective to tackle things may seem like a lot, but if you do one thing at a time, you will get through it. Similar to donating things. You go through all of your stuff, and then you choose. Do I want to keep it? Do I want to toss it? Do I want to donate it? With your finances, you will do the same thing. For those of you listening that have credit cards, go through your accounts. Go through your wallet. Look at the credit cards that you have. Did you get a card just because there was an additional 10% off of your purchase when you signed up for that card? Maybe there was a 6-month 0% offer, but that was 2 years ago. If so, do you shop there on a regular basis? If not, toss the card. Cut it up. But do not cancel the card with the credit card company. This can hurt your credit score. We'll get back to that in a bit. January is a great month to go through your things. Not just clearing out the closet and making room for things that you received over the holidays. I'm talking about a financial cleaning, of course. What if I don't have a credit card yet? How can I possibly do a financial cleanup? The easiest one that I do is start with my emails. You might be wondering, what does that have to do with my finances? Well, I'm here to tell you everything. I'm sure most of you order things online and get gifts for people on your list, especially with the holidays that pass. It's not always a store that you shop at, but you had to have that perfect gift for that someone special on your list, so you go ahead and you order it. You might do this multiple times like I did, and before you know it, you have emails from every store you ordered from and emails from all of their partner stores as well. The problem doesn't start after the order is received and said person has their amazing gift from you. It starts as soon as you place that order. Now the company and said partner companies are emailing you on a regular basis. And you might order from them again. You might not. Maybe not until next year when you need another gift. Maybe not at all. So for me, the easiest financial declutter is with my email. By hitting the unsubscribe button from all the stores and all the websites that I don't use on a regular basis. Possibly you're receiving a good 8-10 emails a day like I am from the time you order someone's gift. This can be overwhelming, so for me, it is quite a relief to get rid of these. It won't take a day to do because these emails come in sporadically. But each day that you receive an email from a store or a website to buy a good or a service, before hitting the delete button, really think about it. Are you going to be using that company going forward? Don't get me wrong. I love a great sale. But giving me 20, 30, or even 50% off of something that I don't particularly use is not a savings. For me, it will create a new expense that I don't want to be part of. I'm supposed to be cleaning up. Another cleanup I want you to do is to look at your credit card statements. Easy enough to pull up. You could do it on your phone through the app. Some cards have a year-end summary that will show you where you spent your money this year. Was it on gas, restaurants, retail shopping? Go through the cards that you have a balance on. Look at the interest rates you're being charged. Some credit cards charge 9, 11%. Some charge as high as 22 or 25%. If you have a card with a balance and a high interest rate, call the credit card company. Ask for a rate reduction. Can you do that? Absolutely. Why not? But guess what? Most people don't. Most people never look at the statement. Most people have no idea what the rate on their credit card is. Most people will never make that call. What have you got to lose? If you have the card for a while and you use the card and you have a balance and you've been paying the card each and every month, call the credit card company. Ask for a reduction in the rate. What's the worst they could say? No? One of the best things my mom ever said was that if you don't ask, you won't get, and you'll think what if. So if you don't call, you won't know if they reduce your rate. And in this case, you will end up spending more money than you needed to in order to pay back that card. So make the call and definitely email me. I want to know what kind of results you got. Do you have a card that offers you cash back when you use it? A lot of people have this kind of card. You use the card, you get your cash back, and then pay the balance each month. Or are you? If you're not doing this, then you're not utilizing the card to your benefit. Same with the credit card that offers other perks, whether that be miles for travel or discounts on stores that you frequently go to. Look at the cards you have. Are they benefiting you? If you have a travel rewards card and you don't travel a lot, you might be better off with a cash back card. If you're going to use a credit card, make sure you choose one with the perks that resonate with you and your needs. Now that you've decided which credit cards work for you and which ones don't, it's time to get back to those balances. How can you possibly attempt to pay them off that will make the most sense? Well, there are two ways to accomplish this, and you can use whichever one you feel most comfortable with. There's no right or wrong. You can choose the snowball method or the avalanche method. With the snowball method, you simply list your credit card debt from the smallest amount owed to the largest amount owed. So if you have 4 credit cards with balances of $400, $1,000, $1,200, and $2,000, start with a $400 card. You pay the minimum payment on the smallest card, but with your budget, you can actually pay $100 a month until the card is paid off. That's great. While you're tackling this debt, you're paying the minimum amount due on the other cards. Once that first card is paid off, you move to the next card. You might have a balance of $800 now. The minimum payment might be $50 per month, but you were already paying $100 a month on the other card. So take that 100, add it to that payment. Pay $150 a month until that card is paid off. And you just continue to add to the previous amount of what you were paying until on the next card until all those cards are paid off. Then you can look at them, evaluate which card you need to keep that's going to benefit you most. If you want to do the avalanche method, you're going to list your credit card balances with the highest interest rate first and then go down from there. So it does make a difference what the balance is on the card. You want to list them with the highest interest rate. So if you have 4 cards and the interest rates are 26, 22, 18, and 14%, you're going to tackle that highest interest rate card first, even if it's not the highest balance. Again, pay the minimum plus whatever additional you can. So maybe pay $100 a month until the card is paid off. You're going to repeat the process for the next highest interest card and add that $100 that you were paying on the first card to the second card until that one is paid off. And again, just going to continue the process. Either method works. All a matter of what you're going to feel most comfortable with. I have clients that get immediate satisfaction when they see that smallest card go. If they only owe $400 and they can pay that off in 3 months, they can see that card go to zero. It gives them motivation to get to the next card. Other people like to tackle that higher interest card first. Whichever one you like. Either way, just stick with it and those cards will be paid off. Let's get back to the part where I mentioned not to cancel the card. It's one thing to pay the card and have a zero balance, but it's another thing to call the company and cancel the card. Why? Typically, if you don't use a card for a certain period and the balance is zero, that company is going to close that account for you, and there probably will not be any impact to your credit score. But if you close a credit card account, especially if the balance is not zero, that can have a negative effect on your score. A credit score, remember, credit score is credit worthiness. Your credit worthiness is determined by how much credit you have available and how much credit you are using. So if you have two credit cards, each has a limit of $1,000, but you owe $1,000 on one of them, your utilization rate is 50% because your total credit line is $2,000. If you decide to close the account that has the zero balance, you have increased your utilization rate to 100%. The credit bureaus look at the total available credit and the total available usage when determining your utilization and your credit worthiness. So it's a good idea to keep your utilization rate at or below 30% if you're not paying off the balances each month. If you do cancel a credit card, be sure to check with the reporting agencies and make sure that it is reflected on your report. It can take 30 to 45 days to see that change happen. So definitely double check that and make sure it does come off of your credit report. Even if you do cancel a card or a company cancels a card because you haven't used it, it doesn't erase your credit history. So your credit history is still there. So if you paid that card on time, all the time, the credit history is still going to be there for you so that you don't lose. It is a good idea to have an emergency fund. And last time we spoke about putting something away each week or each payday. This is also part of financial clarity. You can build an emergency fund and pay down your debt. If it seems like too much to do at the same time, then I would recommend paying the minimum balances on all of your cards each month so that you don't feel behind, and then use whatever you can within your budget to put into an emergency savings account. I think having $1,000 in emergency account to cover an unforeseen expense, flat tire, other car expense, maybe unexpected medical bill, I think that's sufficient amount. The money should be liquid, accessible. Do not put the emergency fund in a 3-month or 6-month CD. You need to be able to access that money just in case you have an emergency. Find a high interest account and put money away until there's $1,000 balance. Once you have that $1,000 secured and set aside, just let it sit and collect interest and don't touch it except for an emergency. That does not include a weekend trip with friends. That is not an emergency. Once you have this fund, you will feel a sense of relief. I know it. Knowing that you have set aside money for an emergency, it's a huge accomplishment. And now you can start to tackle your debt. What if something comes up? What if there is an emergency and you need $300 for a new rim and tire for your car? Don't panic. You prepared for this. You have the funds. Tap into the emergency fund. Pay for the repairs you need. Don't use your credit card, as tempting as it might be. Trust yourself that you prepared for this. You don't have to use the credit card. But if you do take money out of the emergency fund, build it back up to that $1,000 before you do anything else and repeat that cycle. Get back to paying down that debt. You have taken control. You can see the financial clarity. Another place I see clients benefit for cleaning up is when I mentioned subscriptions. What subscription services are you paying for? Streaming services are huge, and there are plenty of them. Most of the time, we see the ad for a streaming service, and it's only $4.99 a month. No big deal. I can definitely pay for that. The problem is when you add the $4.99 service to the $2.99 service to the $7.99 service, and now you're up to $16 a month. Along with the streaming service you paid for, they're going to offer you a free subscription for 3 months for something else that you inadvertently signed up for. Before you know it, you have 3 services that you're paying for, another 2 or 3 services for free, for a limited time, of course. except you don't remember to cancel them before the free period ends. And now, 5 months later, you're paying almost $60 a month for services you didn't even intend on getting on in the first place. So please look through your subscriptions. What are you paying for? And when you look at them, what are you actually using? What are you actually watching? Check the app on your phone. See what you're subscribed to. Look to see when it renews. And just like that clothing pile, toss it if it doesn't serve you well. Thinking about all of this, money, credit, financial clarity, where to start can be difficult. Any new thing that you start can be difficult, but over time, it does get easier. And the more you understand, the more you'll know, and the better you will be with your finances. Be intentional with your spending, be intentional with your money. Look at your numbers going in and out of your account. As your needs change, your goals for yourself change, and your money will change. And you will know how to change with it because you're prepared. Remember, be invaluable for what you share, not what you know. See you next time on Your 18 Now What? Thanks for joining me.